Welcome again to the MTM Labs. My name is Mike.
I'm Maddie.
And we're going to be talking about a few questions that people have asked us over the last week. Maddie put up a question, and what was that? It was running about a week long?
Yeah, we asked last week, we just asked if anybody had any questions they wanted us to answer, so we're going to go through those now.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, question number one from 514 Schuster. How much for a foam cannon, including shipping?
And so we have two foam cannons that are kind of more popular. We have our PF22, this is our flagship product. This one we sell on our website, MTM Hydro parts, for $90. And this is the original professional foam cannon. This one we sell for $80. Now the lucky thing when you buy from us on our website is that you get free shipping for orders $49.99 and up. So you're going to pay nothing in shipping. You're just going to pay for your product and then it's on its way. So, second question from the Caspero. This one's for Mike. When are you planning to start selling products in Europe?
Very good question. So if you're on right now, we already do sell products in Europe. It's just not from us. So MTM Hydro SRL is based in Carrasco, Italy. We have distributors throughout Europe, Sweden, Great Britain, France, Spain, Austria. They have customers in Russia as well. So we're international. If you're looking for something specific, we can get you their contact information, and then they can connect you with a local distributor for fittings, plugs, guns, foam cannons, all that kind of stuff. Adapters are specific to a market, so Europe doesn't use the same fittings as we do, but you can still find quick couplers and that kind of stuff. Depending on what machine you're using, your local distributor is going to know more information about what you would need to get going and get foam. So, all right, from Javier GS01, will you be making a foam cannon with a wide opening? What does that mean?
Well, so this would usually mean the bottle would have a wider opening. We would like to create something that's ours and something that's original rather than imitating something else. So ultimately, this is something we're looking into, possibly with an adapter. Just keep an eye on what we're doing. Follow us on social, watch what we're doing, and it is something that could possibly happen in the future. So, the next one is from Bay Area Mopar Cruise Night. And this person's question is, what is the best water to soap ratio for the PF22?
That is a tough question because it is completely dependent upon your gallons per minute and PSI of your machine. The reason that we have these orifice sizes are to accommodate different pressure washers. So we get this question, or at least something similar to it, 2 to 3 times a day for people that are using anything from an AR Blue Clean machine to Sunjo, Generac, you name it. People have questions on this stuff because those are the most common machines in the market. We're going to touch a little bit later on where to find your correct orifice size, but it's not about necessarily, you want to have the correct ratio, but most of the chemicals that people test, like Chemical Guys and Adams, Esoteric has some of their own lines, Guyon, you name it. All these groups, they test this stuff with foam cannons because they know people use it. Well, they test it with something that's around a 2 gallon a minute machine or less, which means that if you have a larger machine or your nozzle size is incorrect, they use the size nozzle for the foam cannon that they require for that machine. So if it's a 3.5 nozzle, which comes standard in our foam cannons, it's a perfect fitting for that machine, and that's what they're going to base their chemical on. So they'll say, well, a 3.5 nozzle with this machine, that's 3,000 PSI, they need a specific orifice size. That would require 2 ounces of chemical to the quart of water in there. Excuse me. And so if your machine is larger than that, then you would have to increase it because you're introducing more water and you're driving your ratio down. So if they're testing these at 2 gallons a minute, we don't know all of what they're testing, but if they test it at 2 gallons a minute and your machine might have 3 gallons a minute, you need to increase the total amount of chemical within that bottle from 2 ounces maybe to 3 ounces. Chemical interacts differently when it's under pressure, and so when it hits that filter, that agitator, it pops, and that's the foam that you see. So it's a tough question to answer. If you're not getting the right foam from what you see in the videos, there's a couple of things you can do. One is you can use warm water. Most people don't have that option unless you can run something from a tap. Number two, DI water. A couple $100, but well worth it if you can afford it and you're a real, a professional detailer. DI water and RO definitely foams better. It's just the chemical interaction. And then the third option, which I personally do, I'm totally guilty of it, I add an extra ounce of chemical. And that seems to work pretty well for me, so.
All right. Okay, we have another one for Mike. This is from Kingfisher 2015. This person wants to know, why do I need a lower pressure for better foam? Why?
Good question. Okay, so this kind of touches on what we were getting to. It's not about having lower pressure. It's about matching the orifice size required for your machine. So if your machine, and you can do this on our nozzle calculator, we do have another question on that later on, but optimizing your pressure washer specs through your nozzle. Most people with the smaller machines will have a nozzle size of 1.8 or even upwards of that, 2.6, something like that. I personally have a 3100 PSI 2.3 gallon a minute machine, and I still require a 1.1 millimeter orifice, and it foams great. It only has to do with the balance of PSI and GPM. All right, so Maddie, got a question from Toxic, that one Fortnite guy, killer name. How do you get all of these cars?
All right, well, this is actually really cool. We don't have that many cars of our own. So for the most part, we get a ton of our content and photos from you guys. There's so many fans of our product and people that are using our product all around that have really unique and cool cars, and they like to show them off. So they post on Instagram and Facebook, and they tag us in that, and we're then able to repost and use those photos and share their vehicles. So that's something you can do if you're foaming and you've got a cool vehicle, tag us in it. We'll probably repost it and share it. And that's how we've been able to get content every day. We get posts and tags multiple times a day. We get new content. So keep it up. We love that you guys do that. Yep. Okay, another question from Bob Sugar. Why is my coupler leaking?
All right, so here at MTM Hydro, Veloci, we sell around 150,000 couplers per year. I'm sorry, 150,000 O-rings per year. We actually sell quite a few more couplers than that. We sell so many O-rings because it is something you just go through. I personally go through 2 to 3 per summer. All that happens is I go to connect my foam cannon, I'm messing around, I'm drinking a beer on the weekends, and I go to connect this, and I don't engage the collar fully. And what happens? I pull the trigger, and the foam cannon shoots off, right? It just falls on the ground. But that blast of pressure, pushes that O-ring right out. So you probably can't see it, but if you look in your coupler at home, whether it's a 1/4 or a 3/8, that O-ring just goes poof and shoots out. Don't bother finding it. I'm sure that you don't have one laying around. We may actually look at including O-rings in the future in some of our kits and packs, because it's just a normal thing to blow out. We only sell 25 packs because we're a wholesaler. So if you're looking for 1 or 2, you're not going to find it here. You'd have to go to some big box store to find something like that. But we will probably be posting those shortly because we've had a lot of requests for those. Like I said, blowing out O-rings is a very normal thing, whether it's a foam cannon or a plug or whatever. The other reason, if you're buying O-rings, from my personal opinion, don't bother buying a 3/8 O-ring. They're helpful to have, but that's really in those onesie twosies. This coupler on the end, whether it's at the end of your lance or the end of your gun, you use 10 to 1 over this coupler, the 3/8 coupler at the base of your gun. So don't even worry about it. The 1/4 inch line, the one reason that you're not going to get foam after you blow that out is that the seal is gone. And so what happens is you have a coupler with your O-ring in it, and that O-ring, once this plug is engaged, rides up onto what's called the chamfer, even you call it the neck. So when that when the O-ring rides up on it, it creates that seal and it locks it in. That's why you can't move anything when it's under pressure. So once you disengage the gun, you're able to pull the collar back off. When that O-ring is gone, you get water spraying out of both ends of the collar and out the front as well, because there's no seal there. So We'll look at including those in the future because I know people have been asking about it, but it's a very normal thing.
Awesome.
All right, funny who videos. How do I know what orifice size to use?
Well, because orifice size is so important when it comes to your foam cannon, we've decided to put a calculator out there. So on our website, mtmhydroparts.com, basically anywhere on the website that is involved with nozzles or orifices, there's a link to the calculator. It's super easy to use. You just put in your GPM and your PSI, and then it'll populate the number for you so you know exactly what kind is recommended for you. There's also a section specifically on the website. If you go to our drop down, if you go to your pressure washing parts, and then to nozzles, it's directly under there, easy to find. So definitely take advantage of that.
That about does it for us. We want to give a quick shout out to Carolinas, Virginia, Florida, Georgia. We hope you guys are safe. Everything's going okay for you. You know, we've got products on our site that can help with the cleanup effort. I'm not going to plug it right now because you're still in the middle of all this, but if you do have questions about how we might be able to help, please contact us by Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and or just send an email through the site. That works great too. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.